Before you listen to anything else today, hear this: a woman will never come out and tell you what she truly feels. She'll hide it behind silence, mixed signals, and those little tests that make you wonder if you're losing her or if she's falling even deeper for you. And right now, you might be standing in the most important moment of your connection without even realizing it, because the way you respond next, your calmness, your strength, your patience, could be the very thing that decides whether she pulls closer or disappears forever. Most men fail this moment. Most men react. But you're about to learn the one truth that changes everything. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will rewrite the way you understand women forever. Comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. When a woman tests you, it's not an attack. And it's not a game. It's a search for something deeper, emotional truth. Most men misunderstand this entirely. They think she's trying to provoke them, confuse them, or create unnecessary drama. But if you listen closely, beneath every emotional shift, every moment of silence, every small challenge she throws your way, she's really asking one simple question. Are you the man I can trust with my heart? A test is rarely about the surface level situation. It's not about why you replied late, why you didn't notice something she changed, or why you didn't react the way she expected. Those are just the doorways. What she's actually trying to understand is your emotional stability. She wants to see whether your behavior is consistent, whether you can remain grounded when things feel uncertain, and whether the man you claim to be is the man you truly are when pressure hits. Psychologically, women evaluate safety on an emotional level, not just a physical one. Stability is not proven in calm moments. It's revealed in moments of friction. So when she questions you, challenges you, or withdraws slightly to see how you respond, she's observing whether your sense of self crumbles or remains intact. Your response tells her everything she needs to know. If you get defensive, angry, or reactive, she sees instability. If you become overly accommodating or try to fix everything instantly, she sees insecurity. But when you stay calm, present, and unshaken, she feels something far more powerful: reassurance. Think of it this way: a woman's emotional world moves like the tide, strong, intuitive, and ever shifting. She doesn't test you because she's insecure. She tests you because she needs to feel the depth of your presence. She needs to know that when life becomes chaotic, you won't become chaotic with it. She wants to feel that your center is strong enough to hold both of you. And here's the part most men never understand. A woman doesn't fall in love with your charm, your looks, or your words. She falls in love with the way she feels when she watches you handle pressure. She falls for the man who doesn't run from uncomfortable moments, who doesn't lose himself when emotions rise, who doesn't break character just because the situation becomes inconvenient. Her tests are simply the language she uses to measure your emotional leadership. Whether you pass or fail has nothing to do with perfection and everything to do with composure. When you stop taking her tests personally, you stop losing your power. When you understand them, you stop reacting and start responding. And that single shift changes everything. Remember this: a test isn't meant to break you. It's meant to reveal you. And the moment you embrace that truth, you stop fearing the test and start becoming the man who naturally passes it. Emotional composure is the quiet force that separates men who constantly struggle in relationships from those who move through them with clarity and confidence. When a woman tests you, she's not looking for the loudest reaction or the most dramatic response. She's observing the energy you bring into that moment, your ability to remain centered even when something inside you wants to panic, defend, prove, or withdraw. And this is where most men fail, not because they are bad men, but because they respond from fear instead of grounded awareness. A woman can feel the difference instantly. She can sense when your reaction comes from insecurity rather than understanding. The truth is, emotional composure isn't about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally responsible. It's about showing her that you won't crumble under pressure or allow discomfort to dictate your behavior. This is why she pays more attention to your tone than your words, more attention to your energy than your explanations. She wants to feel that your presence remains steady even when the dynamic becomes uncertain. From a psychological perspective, the human nervous system mirrors the environment around it. If she brings emotional intensity and you respond with equal intensity, she sees conflict. But if she brings emotional intensity and you respond with calm, she sees leadership. She sees a man who can regulate himself, and therefore a man she can trust. And trust, more than anything, is what she's testing for. Your composure also communicates something deeper about your self-image. A man who truly knows his value doesn't rush to defend it. He doesn't interpret every question as an accusation or every emotional moment as an attack. Instead, he listens. He observes. He answers with clarity rather than ego. And without even trying, he shows her that his sense of self isn't fragile or easily shaken. Notice what happens when you remain composed in a moment where she expected a reaction. Her energy shifts. The tension dissolves. Suddenly, she's the one leaning in, trying to understand you, not because you outsmarted her, but because you out-centered her. Composure creates gravity. It pulls her toward you instead of pushing her away. Think of composure as the emotional equivalent of strength training. The more you practice it, the more naturally it becomes part of who you are. When you remain calm, you're not only passing the test, you're showing her the version of you she can trust in the long term. You're showing her that you don't collapse under emotional weight and that you don't need chaos to feel significant. The truth is simple. You don't pass a woman's tests by reacting. You pass them by rising above the reaction. You pass them when your presence remains stronger than the moment. So carry this with you. Composure isn't just the way you respond to her. It's the way you lead yourself. And when you master that, you stop trying to pass her tests because you become the man who naturally does. What most men overlook is that the real test isn't in her words, her questions, or even her emotions. The real test is in how firmly you stand in your own boundaries. A woman pays close attention to how you treat yourself, long before she pays attention to how you treat her. If you fold the moment she pushes, if you compromise your values just to avoid friction, or if you let her behavior override your standards, she doesn't see kindness, she sees uncertainty. And uncertainty is the one thing that makes her pull away faster than anything else. Women are incredibly intuitive. They can sense when a man bends not from love, but from fear. Fear of losing her. Fear of disappointing her. Fear of not being enough. But here's the paradox. The very act of abandoning your boundaries is what makes you lose her emotional respect. Because every time you ignore what you believe in just to keep the peace, you're silently telling her that you don't trust yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, she can't trust you either. Holding boundaries doesn't mean becoming rigid, controlling, or insensitive. It's about being rooted. It's about knowing what you stand for and staying aligned with it, even when the moment becomes uncomfortable. A man with strong boundaries doesn't need to raise his voice, punish, or prove anything. His calm certainty is the message. His consistency becomes the anchor in the relationship. And ironically, it is that anchor that makes her soften, open up, and feel safe enough to be feminine around you. Philosophically, boundaries represent identity. They tell the world who you are and what you live by. Psychologically, they create a container, a space where emotional connection can flourish without slipping into chaos. When you protect your boundaries, you protect the integrity of the connection itself. And women deeply, instinctively respond to that level of groundedness. Watch what happens when you calmly enforce a boundary. The moment you say, without anger or attitude, "This doesn't work for me," something shifts in her. It doesn't push her away. It pulls her into a deeper place of respect. She may challenge you for a moment, but underneath that challenge, she's relieved. Because she has finally met a man who doesn't need her approval to be whole. That's what passes the test. Not dominance, not manipulation, not indifference, but quiet self-respect. The ability to say yes with intention and no with confidence. The willingness to walk away from what dishonors you, even if it's difficult. The consistency to remain aligned with your values instead of the moment's emotion. And here's the truth you need to carry with you. A woman doesn't fall for the man who pleases her. She falls for the man who respects himself. If you want to pass every test, start here. Stand where you've decided to stand. The world bends for the man who refuses to bend himself.